Welcome in, everyone. Hello there, I am Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you back. How you doing? Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Hello there, Will. Welcome in, Soph. Hi there, JK. Welcome in, Muscat. What's new? What's happening, everyone? Happy Friday to all of you. Exciting things are happening behind the scenes. Exciting. Though today I didn't get things done today. Oh well. Hello, Nan Reader. GoPro's still not with it. I keep forgetting to deal with that in between streams. It's entirely my fault that the face detection auto swap is not working tonight. Because the GoPro is not properly connected, so it doesn't have a face scene to detect to switch it. I just thought of something, though. I wonder if that's changed with the new system. Don't know. In order to get NDI to now go to the back computer, I'm having to run the virtual camera nowadays, since the last major OBS update like a week or two ago. And I am concerned that now, after thinking about it, like the GoPro has been sort of out of order that amount of time as well, but that's just entirely on the GoPro. I'm worried that it's going to be broke once I get the GoPro working, though. Oh, hey, I bought more half and half. I can put half and half with my coffee tonight. I've gone several days without half and half. And I just bought it this afternoon on the way back home. Why are you not following me, camera? Oops, messed up at the end there. Hey, Jana. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Cheers. Where do we start with tonight's dinner? I think we start with pastry. I'm not using some pre-made puff pastry for this. Makes it sweet. I think that depends more on your palate. For me, not so much. For me, I really want half and half with some actual fat to it. A lot of those like gas station half and halves are very much not half and half in my mind. And I only need I put way too much when I'm here on stream or I'm at home because I just go through the half and half anyways, but I only want a couple of drops of half and half in there. It just changes the body of the entire coffee and just makes it so much more luxurious. That said, I've lived through cold, rainy mornings with a little bit of black coffee. All right, so we got a dirty bowl is what we got. I'm going to be making a Blitz puff pastry tonight. Though I don't remember the ratio I used to use for my business back in the day, which is sort of irritating. Half baking flour, half all-purpose. Oh, you missed that. I was sitting there going back and forth, going for the it was 11.9 for the longest time. And I just, little bit by little bit, trying to get it to 12. I guess it still needs it. Okay, I'm tired of playing games. Water. Salt. Always use flour on days I have a black shirt, don't I? That was more flour than I thought was there. I'll figure that problem out a little bit later. It's overflowing. To start with this issue, we can heavily dust our counter here. And take this shaggy mass, and give it a roll. Fold. Try and get all the butter on the inside. Fold. Roll. Butter is getting quite warm at this point, much warmer than we want it to really be for a proper puff pastry. So our next steps are here to fold, fold, and I think I'm going to give this a little bit more of a roll out and get a little bit flatter, and then we're going to freeze it. We're not really going to freeze it, but I'm putting it in the freezer to cool down, hopefully re-solidify this butter a little bit. You'll work fine for this. Darn it. You've got something on you. I don't want to use you. Alright, into the freezer with you. Now on to chicken butchery. I went back to Mary's after the last chicken. That last chicken was heritage. And with an extra gallon of water. Free feathers. I'm going to break this down, but I'm mostly just using the chicken breasts tonight. I'm going to save most of the rest of the bird here for Sunday, for Delaware, when we're going to be making slippery noodles, or slippery dumplings. So we're going to get rid of the wings here while we're in an ad. I will see you in a moment. Not the rosiest, pinkest chicken I've ever seen. But it is so much better than that so-called heritage chicken of last time. So much better. Get in the bag. Fighting me every step of the way there, that leg. So this is for Sunday. And this is for stock. Ooh. Soph, thank you so much for the resub. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Over a year and a month now. Hey Blake, welcome. Coffee break. I think we're actually gonna go for you tonight. Just going halvesies on these after removing the tenderloin. That wasn't quite halvesies, but I'll live with it. Mine's been pretty good so far. I was frustrated with my shopping this afternoon, but couldn't find anything of what I wanted at the one place. Not food. A little annoyed that it seems like the local hardware stores don't care what I'm, or not care, but they probably don't care either, but they don't carry what I'm looking for right now, and it's honestly something that I would like to be able to see and pick out, and I'm frustrated that I'm probably gonna have to order it. Salt with our oil. Bit more salt. Turn our pan on here so we can start searing. Hit it all up with a decent amount of garlic, too. That's a little bit lacking for a description tonight, I guess. It is what I'm making. We're doing chicken, we're doing spinach. I'm making a homemade quick blitz puff pastry for topping. Haven't 100% knocked out what I want to do for besides just the chicken and the spinach in this dish. No, I have a stream scheduled on Monday. I hadn't decided on what days I was going to be taking off. I have things already planned in the calendar. The stuff that's planned in the calendar, I'm probably not skipping. No, that's not what we want. Nope, don't care about that either. No. And we're getting warm back here, so I think we're going to start in on our chicken now. I'm going to sear it all and then put it off to the side, and then we'll worry about what else we're doing with this. Yeah, it turned out looking not half bad. I think I'm going to stop it here, even though it's not quite all the way through here. This is certainly not all the way through. But we're also not done cooking all of this, so... What did I do with the oil? Salt. Turn the heat off on that now, since we're getting a little hotter and smokier than I want. Gonna have to turn the fan on high here for a moment too. Yep, that's what I said, captions. You're right on it. Monday, I believe I am doing a large Dutch baby, which is like sort of a pancake, sort of like an oversized popover, somewhere in that ballpark. And then I'm putting a salad in it. This pan does not have a flame underneath it. I am going to try and scrape up most of that fond with this butter. Flour. That was a bit too much flour, but it's not the end of the world. Turn the flame on there. That was a little impressive there for a moment. Guess I gotta open a fresh one. Chicken stock. I did turn the flame back on here, so this is back to heating up again. I've already saturated this sauce with the roux, so it's going to be completely thick once it gets to heat, but definitely adding more liquid into this. Who's writing in the Discord? Making my phone beep. Now I want this sauce to be a bit thick because I'm going to throw the spinach into it, which is going to dump a bunch of liquid into it as it cooks. This is verging on too thick though. Turn the heat down on this now. I think that's good, at least with the chicken stock for tonight. Hi there. Welcome, Alex. Now we're going to add in some cream into that party. Or rather, half and half. Lighten this up a bit, at least in color. Pepper. MSG. Salt. That definitely needs time to cook that flour flavor out of it. We're going to add some other stuff in there while it's doing that. Do some dried thyme, maybe a bay leaf. Wishing I had some powdered mustard right now. Keep forgetting that I have this. I put dried thyme in there and I have fresh. Well, I have some fresh. Give me a minute. Welcome, welcome. We be doing chicken and spinach tonight. And I'm going to do a salad, I think. I didn't mention that earlier, but I think I'm going to do a... not outrageously complex, but a salad. So we'll do dried and fresh time, since I forgot I had fresh. What's my judgment on how much stem to use or not? I sort of try and picture what it would be like, and if I'm eating it, and whether that stem is going to be like, oh wow, there's a stem there, or I can get away with it. This is the sort of thing that, like, fine dining Michelin restaurant is going to have an intern there with tweezers. Let's do a little freeze-dried parsley, too. And a squirt of the turmeric mustard. Back to rolling here. Back to our dough. We're going to give this a few more layers by rolling it out a bit thinner, book folding it. And to this, I'm going to cut a hole in the center. And see the layers in that, maybe. It's not puff pastry, but it's puff pastry that you can do in about an hour at home, sort of a thing. It's not going to give us the rise of puff pastry. But it is going to hopefully bubble up nicely. So there's now like an X pattern along with the circle in there. So hopefully we'll get some splitting. Like, we still get the layers of butter and flour doing the Blitz puff pastry style like this. You don't get the large pockets of rise because you don't have a consistent layerage of butter and flour like you do if you're using the envelope puff pastry method. I guess we can turn the fan back down low. How's our sauce looking back here? Like sauce. We need to get this back on the plate and back in the freezer. It fit. I don't always wash my rolling pin if it's just handling, like bread flour. But that had a fair amount of butter involved, so give this a proper cleanup. We'll scrape off the counter here. We're going to need a space set up here for laying our baking stuff in there. We need to turn our oven on and get that up to 400. I'm going to give it 425. Turn the heat back up on this. It's been sitting here on low. If you're a big mushroom fan, you can substitute some chicken or all of the chicken for mushrooms in this dish without much of a problem. You can stay with the chicken stock, or you can go with mushroom stock, or maybe you got a veg stock. Yeah, we'll need this later too. Why not grab all that stuff now? We're gonna need one of these. Now that I've let all of the cold air out of my refrigerator, you got any frogs in here? Any snails? What are you? You're not spinach. Stowaway greens. Sort of waiting on the oven right now. Actually, we're really just waiting on the oven right now. That sauce we could probably go with right now. I want that oven to be solidly 425 before I put that puff pastry in there. And I'm going to leave the puff pastry in the freezer until that very last second that I can. I tried to make it somewhat round, but I wasn't gonna get there, so it's not quite round. Hi, Tiff Tiff. Welcome, welcome. How you be? Happy weekend. We're waiting on my oven to come up to temp. Well, I already sauteed off the chicken. Although it's not completely cooked through, it's just got some nice color on it. And I've got the sauce bubbling there, which is largely chicken stock with a little bit of half and half, thickened with a butter roux, and with seasonings, herbage, and little bit of yellow mustard. And that's bubbling to make sure we got the flour flavor out, though I think at this point we're probably pretty safe. Yeah, that's just yummy. Touch more salt. It's a bit thicker than I want the final thing to be, but that's because we're adding spinach in there, and that's going to thin it out as it loses its moisture. And I've made a quick puff pastry, or a blitz puff pastry. Blitz style puff pastry that I am going to be topping the whole thing with, and we're waiting for my oven to come to 425 to assemble everything. And then I'm going to make a salad while it's baking. In fact, why don't I do that while we're waiting? We'll take some of the nicer salad greens and save them for salad. Throwing some of the spinach in with the salad and some of the arugula for Monday's dinner for Monday's dinner. I looked at you already and rejected you. We're going in there with you now. This is one of those things you can never get right as a beginning cook. Because no matter how you do your lettuce prep, your cleaning for salads, or anything along that line, a lot of times garde manger is the first step into a small kitchen. They're always going to have something they can nitpick at you with this. You know, why didn't you use that one? Why did you keep this out? What was ugly about that? Meanwhile, you let in one just like partially yellow leaf, and you get reamed out just as bad for. It's one of those perfect new to the kitchen, we're gonna break you regardless of who you are type tasks. Okay, we've gone long enough. This has gotten too thick. We want it thick, but not two C's. Did I say hello to you, El Capitano? Welcome in, if I haven't. Pretty sure I read that earlier, and don't know if I responded. And that's our oven saying that it's at 425. Do we believe it? Just got back from San Diego, missing the beach and sun and seafood. Nice. What part were you in the gas lamp? Did you go to that? I think there's a fish restaurant there right on the corner, right across from the convention. The last two times I've gone, I've stayed in the gas lamp and I've just sort of like parked up my car the entire time and forgotten that it exists. Because you can basically just walk around there for the weekend and be set. If I were to go back to San Diego for TwitchCon once again, I think I might be inclined to stay somewhere else and drive into the... I have no idea what the cost of parking at the convention center is, though. But the whole area there is super expensive. Alright, so let's get building with our dish here. We're going to have to do some of this over here, but we're going to start by adding 3 of these pieces of chicken back in here. I'm going to do the thickest pieces at the bottom here. Actually, we'll do that. And that. And then we're going to top that with spinach. Get off my spoon. We'll add the other 2 pieces over the top of that. Drizzle all of the chicken juices from sitting in the pan over the top of that. Now we're going to move this over here. And we grab you and just slide you right over the top. And just cutting a little of the excess off here. Rounding it off a little bit. Parchment in a pan. Because this is going to drip with the butter from this is going to drip down. So this definitely needs something underneath it. Even though it's in a cast iron pan. I'm going to try and place it on here so that it is drip safe. And this goes into 425 degree oven as is. $20-minute timer. Can save this and use this as a roux. Well, not as roux, but it's a nice mixture of nothing but butter and flour, so it'll thicken things nicely, broken up into them. Especially if you make sure and knead that butter into the flour a little bit more. Alright, salad time. So we got some spinach in there. I feel like this is like a game show song. Come on down. So this is for Monday as well. But we'll use some of that in there with this. No fans of the spatchcocking? If I remember right, this is too fine for my style. Yep. Ooh, ad break. I'm just making salad. Turn the heat down to 400 from 425. What do we coat with tonight? I think we're going to use this up. It's basically honey mustard. It's not, but it's basically honey mustard. No, I can't even use those for this. Oswell's. Salt. Pepper. Olive oil. I forgot I had you. I could have used that tonight. Sunflower seeds. Fake bacon. Why not? We got 20 seconds. Actually, we got a couple of minutes. I canceled my timer, though, apparently. Oops. They have to be horrible for us, health-wise. Like, fried bits of soy. Like... Hi, Dragon. I've never done that, so I would never do such a thing. Eat something salty and very savory, like to cut the edge when I know I'm going to be eating soon or something else. Would never do that. Totally unlike me. I just canceled the whole thing, did I? I think after that debacle, we're going to give that a whole nother 8 minutes. Yeah, I can't see a thing through that. Nope. Nope. So I think we're going to take a bit of an AFK here while that bakes. We got about 8 minutes here. What else can I let everyone know about while we're chilling here? We have the new ingredient challenge going on in the Discord for next Wednesday. We have somehow gotten sesame back into the vote once again. And once again, it's losing. This time to Klondike bars. So Wednesday is going to be either Klondike bars or sesame seeds as an ingredient challenge. Got a nice couple of photos in there of Alex's biscuits and gravy. That looks delicious. And with the, like, fancy cut. And you got, like, a press that cuts them in that shape? Or do you do it by hand? Or... I don't know what it is, Soph. Apparently chat likes it enough to get it into the final vote all the time, and then they vote against it. Is chat trying to create its own meme here? I think we get some water here. And yeah, we're gonna take a bit of an AFK still, too. Yep, I still got Red Hots. That's a full container of them still, too. Wrong way. That way. Okay, lovely people, so I will see you back here in a couple of minutes. We're going to take a brief AFK.
Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat 'em. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a big piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast while they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Well, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers when you want to chop up a little nuts for cake. Cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup. Making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here's a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one.
Okay, I'd be back. Let's get music going again, too. I think we're there. I gave it a couple extra minutes. I took it a little bit longer in the AFK than I initially planned it, because I wanted to give it a little bit more time in the oven. You still got 40 seconds on the timer I set. Might as well give it the full time. Why I'm trying to refold this nasty thing, I don't know. This thing needs to go in the wash. Even though this is mostly just burnt in heat at this point, it's not actually... They're all marred at this point. I need to do some more screen printing. Those that don't know, this horrible screen printing is my own work. It was done live on stream many years ago. And with the wrong types, because you notice this is the plastic type of screen printing that's not supposed to get tons of heat. And the heat it has gotten is already ruined it. This, on the other hand, is the right type of screen printing ink that I was supposed to be using, but fades like a old t-shirt. I think I want to give that a little bit longer. will give it a 90-degree flip. I am going to give that another couple minutes. Like another 5. It was looking beautiful. I just want a little more color. I didn't wash the top of it with any sort of egg wash or anything like that. So it's got that sort of floury browning going on. Let's see, what do you got for me tonight, Bot? Not much there. None of that is food stuff. Shake Shack takes on an old version of McDonald's menu item. Shake Shack has launched what fans are... I love it when authors say that fans like things before they're even really released or they're announcing they exist. Shake Shack has launched what fans are already calling a posh McRib. But the burger chain insists there's one very big difference. $13 rib sandwich. I say that, but then again, I've talked before about the lady in town here trying to do $22 grilled cheese. A little bit over a minute still until we give this another check, and we're going to go with it, whether it's nicely browned like I want or still too pale. Smelling that spinach, which is nice, letting me know that it's actually cooked. That's good. The hope is that that sauce has had the spinach cook down, drain its liquid into that sauce, and that sauce has bubbled up into all through all of that. And hopefully we don't have this spinach salad section to the cross section. It's it's hopefully gotten sauce to bubble through it. So we definitely got some nice layerage. We got some nice bubbleage of sauce there. But we're going to give that a moment to figure itself out. Calm down, relax. I mean, we can at least wait until it stops boiling. Might be able to get rid of this pan now, though. Our edges are very rustic tonight. Let's give a close-up on that with the cam here. Let's see here. And then we do over, down. Moving too quickly here. There we go. And then zoom. Very rustic edging. Which is the ultimate goal here. Like I said, with this, it's not a true puff pastry. It's not going to get that lift. We did get some nice layerage, though. Grab a photo of this before I break into it. Move this back over to the stove. Actually, no, let's put this in back for a photo or two if we can. Wow, first time in a while I felt I needed to clean that after using it. Like, it's not something that necessarily needs to be super sanitary to just be underneath a couple of pans, but that's like coated in oil and stuff now. That doesn't normally happen. By oil, I mean butter. Bottom of the pan butter. No. Alright, so I think that is where we call things for this fine evening. I shall be back here on, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. I shall be back here on Sunday when we're going to be celebrating Delaware, the wonderful state of Delaware, which at one time was our peach capital or top peach producing state. So we're going to be doing peach pie, which is their state dessert. And we'll be doing slippery dumplings in a chicken soup. Slippery dumplings are a little bit like the noodle-like dumplings, so we're making dumplings somewhere across between a dumpling and a noodle on Sunday, and cooking those in our chicken soup, broth, stew. We got carrots, we got potatoes, celery. I've got the rest of the chicken that I cut up earlier tonight. That's all going into Sunday's deliciousness. And then Monday we also have Dutch baby with salad inside. So all that loveliness coming up here. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Let's see who's out there on Twitch tonight. Come on, Twitch. Give me recommendations for people that aren't even streaming right now. I'm going to send all you lovely peoples to go hang out with Jeep Banani, who has raided me a couple of times here in recent months. They are playing Windrose, which is, I believe, the new hotness right now. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend once again. Hope to see you back here soon.